Last episode, we ended things with £1 million in the bank. We now have significantly less money in the bank. Where has it gone? I'll tell you tomorrow. Yes, folks, how is it going? And a warm welcome back. It's Park to Prem. It's episode number 6, and today we're at the end of the season. Yeah, I ended things at the end of last episode at the start of January. I've played a lot of Football Manager. I will elaborate on that more. Let's discuss the money thing first. And in terms of where that money has gone, it's gone on a few very simple things. Improved youth facilities and improved youth recruitment. Both were already way above average. And I had a bit of a dilemma. We were sat with, I think, £1.2 million in the bank after the West Ham game. And the thinking was, do I use it as a short-term game thing to maybe sign a few players? And I have used some money to sign players, but actually I felt like long-term investing in the future is the name of the game. We have managed to max out our youth recruitment, which is something I didn't think we'd be able to do at the start of this save game so soon. But naturally, given the rather unique circumstances we found ourselves in, we had a load of money to spend. And 5-star youth recruitment bodes well. You know, when we're in a world where we know we're only ever going to be able to sign English players, being able to generate some of our own players, probably useful. Now, I did mention transfers. 2 of them have officially happened alongside Ollie Younger that I discussed last episode as a backup player coming in. We picked up 2 players from Bury. The first is Ben Hockenhull, 23-year-old centre-back, has consistently played in the team since his arrival, actually averaged above a 7.0 rating, which is way above a lot of our other centre-backs. Really like the look of this guy, and his partner in crime alongside him on the left-hand side of our defence is this man here, Connor Pye, 20 years old. He was actually listed as Bury's key player. I snapped him up on a free transfer. You can see once upon a time was playing for Sunderland in the Championship. So far for him, a 7.36 rating in 7 games. Left back, let's be real, it's been a problem at different points this year. I think in this man we have the solution. Now, as I mentioned, youth recruitment has been improved. We're at the end of the season. That means one thing. We've had our youth intake. There's 4 players here who could potentially be rushed into the first team. I don't feel a need to do it with any of them. I guess we should talk about these as the pick of the bunch. Aaron Allen is the first of these players, 15 years old. He is a left back who's either-footed, very consistent, bags of potential. I really like the look of this guy. Worth noting, and I've got this question a lot, Jack, what if a non-English player generates at your team? The way the game is hard-coded, with the unique rules we have with the team, the players that generate here will always have partially English nationality. So Aaron here looks very good. I've not yet installed a regen face pack. I'd be interested to know if you think I should use one or not. I think I will get one sorted out come the end of the year. And I think the reason I need to sort one out, and I don't mean to be rude here, but if we just look at Aaron, and this next player, Tammy Ajaria, that I've just picked up, they look identical. Like, the regens in Football Manager, they're not good, are they? In terms of looks, that is, Tammy here could be a very good right back. I feel like we've got our left back and right back of the future. They're both a long way away, I think, from being first team ready. I feel like the current ability is perhaps a little bit deceptive. If we just compare Ajaria here with Sammy Robinson, yeah, there's no contest, except from the fact that Sammy Robinson's contract's up at the end of the year. He doesn't want to sign a new year deal. We'll talk about that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. 2 other players considered possible candidates for the first team from our youth intake. Andy White here is a very langy striker. He's very tall. He's got 194 centimetres of height, only 12 jumping reach. Really good determination. I actually think of the bunch, he could be the best player. Bit of a shame he's inconsistent. And Lewis Meek here, his polygon is a fish, and he can play left wing. We don't play with left wingers. I'm currently training him to play at centre attacking mid. The fact that there's an attacking midfield player, he's got 4 finishing, 4 composure, and 5 off the ball, means he's a long way from being ready. And I think with all these players, whilst they perhaps have long-term potential to break into our team, none of them are, none of them are going to be playing for us immediately. I think that's safe to say. Now, alongside the players I mentioned, there are a load with some really good potential, and a load of them are listed as elite talents. I think that's a little bit deceptive, and I think the reason why they were all rated so highly is because all the players that came in this intake are literally the only players in the youth team. When I set up the club, I didn't give them any youth players. I didn't set the game to generate young players at the team, so there isn't really a reference point. As a result, I feel like my staff have got a little carried away. Last episode, we took on West Ham and Leyton Orient. It was a fun episode. If you missed it, well, you've kind of had it all spoiled for you now, but hopefully you did watch it because it was an absolute banger. Following on from that West Ham result, we had a really poor run of form. We drew against Gateshead, lost against Hartlepool on penalties in the FA Trophy, and with that, any hopes of domestic success in a cup competition were vanquished. So that was completely off the table. Then when we lost to Yeovil, I was feeling pretty downbeat. Yeovil are a good team in the playoffs, and off the back of 4 away games in a row without a win, I was kind of relieved that we had a home game against Boston United. To be fair, in this game at halftime, I was not a happy bunny. We had not been at our best, but Boston United towards the bottom of the table, the kind of team that we absolutely have to win against. In the end, we scored 5 in the second half. So the demolition job did eventually come about. Overton in some fine goal-scoring form. This man, he was nowhere near our starting striking positions at the start of this year. Suddenly, he's got 15 goals and 11 assists in 34 league games. He has been such an important player for us in this recent run of form. And while speaking of that recent run of form, I'm not going to recap it in its entirety, but what you need to know is we've been on a good run of form, a really good run of form. We managed to avoid defeat against Sutton, who were up towards the top of the table, despite the fact that Hulme did get sent off late on in that game. The only other game where we slipped up was here against Oldham. This was very much a ding-dong affair. They got the opening goal inside the first 3 minutes. You'll see how it went in. An unfortunate deflection to say the very least, but we managed to bounce back relatively quickly. And having been on a great run of form with Oldham down in mid-table, I thought, you know what, we're going to see out this game as that header went in and we're going to be fine. Didn't happen like that. Oldham responded within minutes, and from there, a hard-fought game where maybe perhaps we had the better of the second half ended without any more goals. So 2 headers at the back post, 1 for either team. Oldham got a result. The good news is this hasn't really thrown us off our game. And while we have continued to win and win. Yeah, we've been in a really good run of form. There's actually 2 games left of the season. The first of those is against Wealdstone in 18th. We then take on FC Halifax. There is a slim chance that the title could go down to the final day. Sadly, despite our great run of form, York remain triumphant at the top. A team who beat us twice already this year. They lost a couple of games in February and March, and I started to think, oh, maybe we could catch them. No, they've not conceded in their last 4, including in the FA Trophy semi-final, which they won. And as a result of that, with 2 games left of the year, the plan is to do the game against Wealdstone, hopefully cement our spot ahead of Forest Green, because the 2nd and 3rd place teams skip around in the playoffs in the Vanarama National League. But should York slip up away against Forest Green in 4th, there's a chance that we could still win the league on the final day of the season, albeit it would take a miracle. We'd be away against Halifax, York at home against Dagenham and Redbridge, who are already... they're not quite relegated yet. Dagenham and Redbridge could be relegated very soon. So in terms of the first team, this is the starting 11 that's been playing for a lot of this end of season run. Hockenhull's come in and Pye's come in at left back. Sadly for me, Jake Leake just hasn't quite been up to standards as far as I'm concerned at left back. And on top of that, whilst Eden Page had a really good start to his time at the club, he's just been injured way too much. Connor Pye, a significantly more rounded player, and well, he's been playing very well. Now I do want to discuss contracts at the club. I have started to renew players' contracts. Most of the squad was on a 1-year deal, so we needed to get some of those renewed. You can see in terms of players that still have contracts ending at the end of the current year, there are players like Arlo Doherty, the backup goalkeeper who's not played much, Chris Oger, Ollie Younger, even who we've signed, Oscar Goburn, Liam Trotter. Players who, when you actually look at their games played, they've not played a lot. There's 2 players who currently don't want to sign new deals, and it's driving me up the wall. The first is Joe McGlynn. I believe he is 2nd or 3rd highest goal scorer in the National League. He is our vice-captain. He's on £1,100 a week. He rejected an offer of £1,800 a week. I'm not going higher than that. As things stand, he would be leaving the club at the end of the year. And the other man, Sammy Robinson, who's leading the way in terms of assists in the National League, he doesn't even want to discuss a contract with me. I need to improve the team before he'd want to continue his stint at the club. This man's been a linchpin in our team. I don't want to spend next summer looking for a right wing back. There's definitely a world in which that's happening. Now, there's one inbox item that when you play lower league football in Football Manager, I hope you know to keep an eye out for. Start of April, you'll get this message about clubs in England being set to release youth players. I've pounced and signed 4 players for next year already. I kind of already alluded to it. With the West Ham run, I was able to bolster the wage budget just a little bit, and we've already gone and spent it. So there's actually 4 transfers lined up for next year. I feel like we need to talk about them. The first, Jack Kingdom. 3 players, by the way, from Manchester United. Not signed because they're from Manchester United, but because they're clearly buying into the Wanderers project. This guy could be an absolutely quality centre-back for us. Not only is he quick, he's fairly good in the air. 19 years old with 19 determination. I absolutely love. When you compare him against someone like Bailey Spencer-Adams, you can already see whilst he doesn't have that same set-piece threat, he's just a very very complete centre-back. So excited to sign him. The next player is another Jack from Manchester United. This guy, Jack Morehouse, centre attacking mid, good little playmakery player. Thorndike has been extremely reliable for us this year, but I feel like having an understudy, so who can maybe provide a little bit of competition at centre attacking mid would be nice. Morehouse is going to be that man for us. I do feel like with all these players, who are signing on very reasonable wages, it has to be said, they're coming in more to be backups than anything else. And I think that is important to stress with Victor Musa here. For those who are wondering, yes, he's got part English nationality. Although he was born in Spain, he's capped for Spain's under-19s. He's your kind of typical non-league English striker. A little bit of pace, some okay finishing, has really good determination. At 18, I feel like he could improve a little bit. And if there's one area of the team where I've not been all that happy, depth at the striking area has been a problem. I've had Pharrell Williams at the club. He's not really delivered. I've had players like Charles Hagan at the club. He's not really delivered. And when I compare these two players against Victor Musa, I feel like Musa is of a similar level and mould, but with the upside of he's 18 and he's coming in on less money. Anyway, the last player we picked up is from Burnley. A little bit of a change of pace from the three, in fact, Manchester United players. We have here Joe Burress, 19 years old, defensive midfielder, 18 determination, has acceleration. I just like the look of this guy. I feel like I need to get in some good, exciting young players. All four of these guys I think could be very useful squad players come next year. And actually, when you look at total appearances across the first team, whilst there's been a variety of players I have used, there's definitely been a portion of the team down towards the bottom here in terms of number of appearances who I've not really been willing to give a chance to. I've not trusted them. And I think one player who kind of typifies that actually is Josh Harrop. He's on £1,100 a week. I've been trying to sell him. No one wants him. He's just not good enough. When you consider he's on £1,000 a week and Morehouse, who are signing in blue here, is coming in on £400 a week, I think it's obvious to see why. I might not want Joshy Harrop around next year. Sadly, no one wants him and his contract goes on to next year. So that could be a problem for the summer. As I mentioned, this is the penultimate league game of the year. I felt like I could have done another episode in the middle of this recent run of games or two, but the reality is that we were only ever chasing down York City, and it's only really materialised in the last couple of game weeks that chance to catch them. So rather than, drag out the season for the sake of things, it's crunch time right now. I'm going to hope we can get a good result against Wealdstone. Of course, if we win this game and York win, congratulations, York, you've won the league. We can't catch them. If we do have that happen, we are guaranteed, I believe, third or second place. Of course, seeding does matter in the playoffs in this competition. And on top of that, for the new boys especially, I want to show you that we've actually been playing well lately. We've been in a really good run of form. Wealdstone should be beatable. I want to end the season on a high, get a bit of momentum for the playoffs. Of course, there's Pye and Hockenhall playing on that left side of the defence. They've been very, very reliable for us. And, well, speaking of the Devils, potentially, well, Pye is here. He's going to let it back to Hockenhall. They've been great. They give it to Hume. McGlynn, it's 1-0. I mean, I can't believe that's just happened. It's like they knew. Lads, I've been bigging you up. The chat, the comments, they're going to slate me if you don't do well. Play well for me. And then they deliver that. Hume whips it in. Another assist for the number 7. He has been at the heart of everything we do at Register. Very glad that he's contracted for the next few years. Half an hour played in this game. We've not created enough, although maybe another chance here. Pie back post. Bailey Addons is there. He's done it again. It's 2-0. I was about to say, we've been on top, not done enough. We've doubled our lead. We've been in complete control. Things look good. I suppose the question now is, what are York doing? York, I think, might be drawing as things stand. And with that, we still have hope that on the final day, we could overtake them. Hockenhull here, drifting inside and giving it to Dowling. Can we make another goal happen? As much as I want to believe we could catch York and, well, we could win these final 2 games, we know that our fate's outside of our own hands. We've just got to do our very best. And as much as I'm trying to kind of lean into this idea that, oh, yeah, maybe we could catch York, it's very unlikely. It's probably going to take a miracle. Half-time in this game here, 2-0 to the good. They've literally not had a shot. And having done the easiest half-time team talk in the world, we're into the second half, and it is more of the same. Already 20 minutes played without a highlight. There's only actually been 5 shots on target for us, which is perhaps a tad discouraging. I'm going to make a couple of changes here, get some fresh legs into the team. Robinson at right wing back hasn't been the best. Harlock is our current backup right wing back. I'm going to be honest, I don't want this guy to be my starting right wing back next year. I really want Robinson to stay. Sellers has still been that utility man striker for us. We'll bring him on in this game here. Hopefully he can get a goal, and hopefully, well, we can defend this here. It's the first real chance they've had all game. It's whipped in. It's headed against the post. And I hate to admit it, I've still not solved the corner problem. Yeah, we still just don't look good from corners, and we could be under siege again here. Ashford with the ball, whipping it into the edge of the box. Simmons, a guy with a scary name I can't say. Rose in goal. Good save. Wealdstone have now had 8 shots in this game. They're still apparently yet to have one on target, so that save there was for the cameras. Corner whipped in. Hockenhall heads it away. And just get it away, lads. Come on. This was such a nice, relaxing game, and now we're ruining it. 15 minutes left. Can they stop? Can you stop? They've not got the memo. Ashford heads over. I'm not enjoying this. I think to see out this game, I'm just going to lower our mentality to balanced. I'm actually going to just ask the players to play the ball out of the defence that little bit more. In possession, we'll lower the tempo. We'll up the time wasting. You know the deal. Slow the tempo down. We just want to work the ball out from the back. Keep hold of the ball. Play Piggy in the middle with their 4 players. If we can get one more on the attack, that would be nice. But I don't know, in a game that looked oh so comfortable, this second half has kind of taken the shine off things. Although Finley Thorndike's not got the message. And I've just noticed Pye at left back just got another assist. In terms of live commentary debuts that you can have as a left back in Football Manager, Pye's doing a bloody good job in this game here, isn't he? It's another assist for him. Of course, Robinson at right back is leading the assists across the league. At left back, we've never had that same output. I kind of put that down to some of the personnel changes we've done, maybe a lack of talent there. It does feel like in Pye, we've found a player who can kind of complement Robinson on the other side and provide that similar threat for us, which could be vital come the playoffs. At this point now, I just want to get a clean sheet and see things out. We're not enjoying things. I've just noticed in the bottom left, York's game is 3-3. They've just scored in the 88th minute, and now it's full time. There was a world where we were about to close the gap on them. I mean, technically, we have still closed the gap on them, I suppose. York, I think there, got a last-minute goal. Sutton slipped up. Sutton drew against Halifax. And Halifax are not good. They're in 10th. Wasn't entirely sure the season was going to go down to the final game of the year. It technically is. It is ourselves and York doing battle for it. There is 3 points separating the teams. Sadly, York didn't bottle it against Forest Green. Charlie McCann for Forest Green did everything he could. He ended up getting a hat-trick in this game, but that late goal for Ollie Pearce rescued a point for York, and that's actually a massive point for them, because now they know they can draw their next game. That's enough for them. The only way we can win the title on the final day is if York City lose against, well, Dagenham and Redbridge, who are relegated, and we win against Halifax. It feels entirely unlikely. It feels like a waste of time. We have to do it just in case. That game's in a week. Don't go anywhere. So I level with you, when I started recording today, didn't genuinely think it'd come down to the final day. Kind of suspected York were going to win. It's going to be game over. That's not what's happened. The fact that we're in second is great. We are now guaranteed a bye to the semi-final of the playoffs, which naturally would happen tomorrow unless Football Manager decides to do a silly. The only things that really matter are we have to beat Halifax. There's no point in worrying about what York are doing. We have to get 3 points here. If York somehow lose at home to Dagenham in 21st, we win the league and Football Manager's done something absolutely stupendous, which I don't see a world where it happens, but let's live the dream, shall we? In terms of team, no injuries, no new drama, so we are not going to touch a thing here. Let's just get straight into this game and hope that we can do something magical. Halifax have actually got some good results against top teams in our league. And when you look at the formation they're playing, this has 0-0 written all over it. They are playing a similarly defensive shape. Lots of players deep behind the ball. Wonder if, like us, they're going to be looking to get on-runners onto it. I suppose there's only one way to find out. It's our final game of the year. Is it playoffs to spare? Are we going to be the champions? Buckle up, buckaroos. Let's play some Football Manager. 10 minutes into this game, predictably, not a great deal happening. Halifax's average position here really gives you an idea of how deep they are sitting back. Set pieces could be crucial for us today, as Pye is going to bring it forward at left back. He's been absolutely sensational. This is like the highlight we had last game. Hockenhull at centre back. Imagine if he'd scored it. I know it wasn't even close, but imagine. Halifax now with a throw-in on the far side as well. Hottie, Blair, they're knocking it around. It's whipped back post. I don't like this. I don't like that. Zach Emerson scores. Imagine if York lose and I lose. I don't want to imagine it. That would be a bottle. It is the typical Football Manager highlight that I will always point out. It's a short throw-in that then results to a cross to the back post. It just happened so much in this game, and Rose couldn't get down to it to stop the header, sadly. York City are already winning 1-0 after a 4th-minute goal. So in many ways, this game doesn't even matter, does it? If they win, it doesn't matter. I mean, we could slip behind Sutton, I suppose, but that won't happen, will it? Will it? I hope not. Right, we got the bullet. Let's get a goal. Let's win this game here. That's all that we can really do. Robertson at left back, not signing a new contract, is putting the ball into the box. McGlynn shot there, and the keeper made a weird save, a very Football Manager save, and the ball's cleared away. York, still 1-0. 5 minutes left of the half. Forward for them, going to launch this ball forward. Hockenall wins the header. Overton kicks it to Mr. Nobody in the corner. He's going to try and run onto his own pass. Sadly, surrendering the ball there is not what we necessarily want to see. Although, well, for a moment I thought we were going to force a turnover in possession. Instead, Halifax actually knock it around really nicely. Blair now bursting through the middle for them, drifting into a wider area. One man to aim for, and Dowling's given away a penalty. What an awful way to end the year. I mean, last match, great. This match, not so good. Cook steps up for them. Rose, can you save me? He's tipped it onto the crossbar. And we suddenly believe again. It would be so Football Manager if they now crossed this in and scored. Don't do it. I was joking. Okay. Everyone relax. And with that missed penalty and resulting corner, the game and the half, rather, it comes to a close. There's still a whole second half to happen. Dagenham, just as a reminder, have to win. They're losing 1-0. They're not going to win, are they? Then again, as much as York just winning denies us the chance to even have a shot at winning the league on the last day of the year, it would be good to end the season going into the playoffs with momentum. Certainly don't want to be surrendering it here against the Halifax team who, I'll be honest, we are just not breaking down. They've got so many players behind the ball. I feel like I've got to change things up here. I do feel a little bit like I'm abandoning who I am, but fundamentally, what we've tried thus far in this game has not worked. I'm going to bring in Sellers through the middle alongside Thorndyke, and we're going to play a box formation, I think, and just try and find a gap through the middle of their team. We're going to play narrow, force the play through the middle, go a bit more direct with our play, and just try and make something happen in what remains here. I do feel like very often against this kind of shape, it's hard to break down teams in Football Manager. I don't think that's an issue unique to us today. Set pieces, as a result, could be very important. This one's headed away, but Overton is going to keep the ball alive on the far side. He pulls it to the edge of the box. We're going to need 2 goals. We're going to need a miracle, and Hume has hit the crossbar there from range. I mean, instantly, tactical changes have happened. We've hit the woodwork. Coincidence? Is that a penalty? Is he given a free kick? That looked in the box. Sorry, I don't mean to be... Can we go... Was this in the box? Discuss. Oh, it's on the line. That should be a... It's close. I'll be honest, 3D's never accurate in Football Manager. I feel like that could have been a penalty. It's not been given. We do still have the free kick. I mean, this man has bailed us multiple times this year. Hume, bail me out again. He's kicked it straight at the first man in the wall. That is anticlimactic. Look at the match momentum in this second half. We've been all over them. They've done absolutely nothing. York are still winning. There's 15 minutes left. Lads, can we find a goal from somewhere? I'll go more attacking. I've already shouted to man more once. I'll shout it again. I'm running out of buttons to click and things to say. Hume, free kick. It's very central, this. This is going to be tricky to get up and over the wall. Can he do it? He's hit the crossbar. Spencer Adams' header. Saved by the keeper. That's twice we've hit the crossbar now, albeit from speculative efforts. It just feels like it's maybe not going to be our day unless... Well, the corner's been cleared. But we do still have the ball here. I can't believe we've not actually scored in this game. I thought when they saved the penalty, Rose in goal for us, it was going to swing this game. How has Sellers missed that? How has he missed that? The keeper apparently saved it. I have no idea how we've not scored in this game so far. We've been all over them. The tactical changes, by the way, have actually seemingly worked quite well. We're having a flurry of chances, sadly. The back of the net isn't rippling, and we're rapidly approaching added time at the end of this game. There's 2 minutes of it. We're not going to win this game. I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things. The only thing that could matter is if we drop down to 3rd. I think that means we could potentially get a worse playoff opponent. Did Sutton bottle it? Sutton bottled it as well. Yeah, they managed to bottle it against Maidenhead 1-0, which means the 2nd and 3rd teams who kind of skipped the first round of the playoffs are both going into this end of season run with absolutely no form whatsoever. You know what? That is an exaggeration. We've lost 1 game there and I'm getting very hyperbolic, but not exactly what we wanted to see happen. If there's a silver lining, we played quite well. their goalkeeper got man of the match. York City are crowned champions. I'm very, very bitter. We will play either Yeovil or Hartlepool in tomorrow's episode. And of course, if we make it through that semi-final, there'll also be the final tomorrow too. That's the end of the regular season concluded. I would love to know down in the comments what you think of my decision basically to play a load of Football Manager off screen. To be honest, I was surprised we got as close to York as we did at the end. For a long time this year, it's just felt like we were nailed on for the playoffs. So rather than drag things out, I thought we'd get towards the crunch end. I think we actually picked two good games to come back for. Gave me a chance to talk about the youth intake a little bit more, talk about the squad, the contract stuff, which I'm still not happy with. I really need to renew the contracts of the big boys. Sammy Robinson, have you changed your mind? I don't think he's going to change his mind. But I digress. Tomorrow's going to be a banger. Appreciate you watching this video, especially if you got to the end. Playoffs tomorrow is going to be fun. Hopefully I'll see you guys for it. Have a lovely Tuesday. Wednesday, come back for more. I'm out.